Hello again, this is Stiv to Slava. In this video I'd like to show you a little more about the workings of the orchestra library. Librarians are responsible for making the rehearsals go smoothly. One of the big things we do is make corrections to the music. These corrections are compiled in lists called Errata. The Orchestra Librarians Association maintains a large repository of these errata lists, and we use them to make corrections into new sets of parts which we receive. This is a fairly extensive process, and I'd like to show you a little bit about it. Here we're going to start looking at Rachmaninoff's Second Symphony. We're looking here at a brand new, clean first violin part. Notice it has no pencil markings. It is fresh from the printer, publisher, and we're going to have to put the corrections into it. Now here is an old part that has been used and it's already marked. It should have most of the corrections in it, if not all of them. As you look at this closely, you'll see that most of the markings you see are bowing indications. You see the up bow and down bow markings. You'll also see some other things penciled in there. You'll see pianissimo. There's mezzo piano. There's a diminuendo hairpin. So you can see this part has been well used. And we're going to use this to help us do the bowings and compare some of the markings as we go through this. Here we're looking at the Mola Errata list prepared by the Philadelphia Orchestra, as you can see at the top there, for Rachmaninoff Symphony No. 2. There you see Violin 1, the instrument, rehearsal figure 66, bar number 12, beat number 1, crescendo. That is the item that needs to be fixed. And he goes down the list. And this shows all the details that need to be added or removed. The list is very extensive. It goes through all instruments, relying on the score as the standard for what needs to be done. We're in this case assuming the score is correct. So there you have the original and reprint publisher is left blank on this. But if we look at the Kalmus, Edwin F. Kalmus Source Guide of Reprints, Kalmus in this instance is the reprint publisher. And this book has a list of all of their music in their catalog. And if you look in there, you can find an entry for Rachmaninoff Symphony No. 2, and at the right there, Opus 27, then it says in brackets 133. Then we have to look in the original publisher index, find number 133, and that will tell us who the original publisher of this Rachmaninoff Symphony was. And in this case, number 133, you'll see is Gutail. That is a Russian publisher who specialized in Rachmaninoff. Now, if you remember, we had an errata item, 66, 9 measures, and on the first beat, now we're counting the measures after 66 here. There is a crescendo. That has been penciled in, that hairpin into the used part that we're using as a reference. So we're going to look on page 23 in the clean part that we have and see what's there. There's number 66. We count the measures or look at the same spot and we see there's nothing there, so we will have to add crescendo at that point, and we'll probably want to write it out, whereas they have just penciled in a hairpin in the used part. Now we're looking at figure 13, the ninth measure, the first beat, piano, 1391P. There's figure 13. We're counting the measures after 13. There we find the first beat, and we're going to pencil in a piano at that point. And since the violin part is divisi, we need to write it in both lines. There, the next item is rehearsal 15, the 12th measure, the first beat, tenuto. So we go to our clean part, find rehearsal figure 15, count 12 measures afterwards. On the first beat, we're going to put a tenuto line over that note. And that's how it goes. There is figure 17, the second item. You see 17, the first measure, the third beat, marcato. So we find figure 17, and there we see there is no clearly defined third beat here. So we need to look at the score to find out exactly where that marcato indication should be placed. It's a good idea to refer to the score when you have any question about an item. And here we have figure 17, and we look down to the violin part, and there it is, marcato abbreviated. It looks like it actually starts on the second beat going to the third beat. So now we're going to take our straight edge, our template, and write the word marcato abbreviated there. Here we found another item. We need to write crescendo. Again, we use the straight edge. This helps keep a clean baseline to our writing. Here's a very helpful item that's used occasionally, the electric eraser. It is used for taking off ink. Basically, you don't need something of that power just to erase pencil, and there's the erasing shield. It's a thin piece of metal that we're going to use to do the erasing. There you see a blob of ink which is marked for deletion. So we're going to take our erasing shield and pick out a shape that fits the ink spot that we've got to remove. We run the electric eraser in the opening there, and this does not disturb, this removes the ink but does not disturb the surrounding markings. And I don't know if you noticed, but there was a tenuto line very close to that ink spot, and that's why we use the erasing shield. That's a quick rundown of how the correction making process works. And it is surprising, or it may be surprising to some of you, that music that's been around for so long still has mistakes in it, but it does. And we try to correct them. Thank you for watching. This is Stiv to Slava.